This is not your average fighter jet deal. This is $10 billion, 48 fifth-generation jets, a handshake between Southeast Asia and the Middle East. And none of it was supposed to happen. Indonesia, Turkey, June 11, 2025, Indo Defense Expo, Jakarta. A deal is signed, a deal that may just reset the rules of global defense cooperation. In this deep dive, we cut through the noise. What is the canned fighter jet? Why did Indonesia make such a bold move? And what does this tell us about the future of military alliances? Here's the fact. Indonesia has agreed to co-develop and acquire 48 Turkish canned fighter jets, Turkey's homegrown fifth-generation multi-role stealth aircraft. The cost? Roughly $10 billion. The timeline? 10 years, but the implications? Far, far greater. Because this isn't just a purchase. This is a partnership. Indonesia won't just fly these jets. They'll help build them. A significant tech transfer agreement, production capabilities, engineering knowledge, shared intellectual property. This is military procurement, reimagined. The canned fighter, once called the TFX, is Turkey's bold leap into the fifth-generation jet race. It's Turkey's answer to America's F-35, Russia's Su-57, China's J-20. Stealthy, networked, AI-driven, multi-role. It boasts a low radar cross-section, AI-assisted avionics, supersonic speed without afterburners, internal weapons base. It's designed not just to fight, but to think, to learn, to adapt. Fifth-generation fighters don't just hide. They connect, they analyze, they dominate the data battlefield. The CAN links with other assets, drones, ships, satellites, creating a real-time picture of combat theaters. In high-speed combat, reaction time is everything. The CAN's AI cuts pilot workload. It suggests flight paths, highlights threats, maximizes survivability. The pilot still decides, but the jet is constantly thinking ahead. There's one catch. The CAN isn't finished. Current prototypes use GE F-110 engines, but Indonesia's version? It's set to use Turkey's still-developing TF-35000A. Expected delivery 2032. So Indonesia is buying a jet, still in development, powered by an engine, also still in development. Why take that risk? That's where this story gets interesting. Indonesia isn't starting from scratch. This deal is just one piece of a sweeping defense modernization effort. They're also buying 42 French Rafales. They've shown interest in the F-15EX. They've looked at Chinese J-10S, Obor. And now, they've locked in with Turkey. This is classic hedging. Indonesia doesn't want to rely on just one supplier. France, the US, maybe even China. And now, Turkey. By spreading their bets, they gain leverage, independence, flexibility. And there's another angle. This deal boosts Indonesia's local industry. Their engineers get training, their factories get licensed, their universities get research opportunities. It's not just jets, it's jobs, it's skills, it's capacity. But there's also pressure. Indonesia operates in a tense neighborhood. The South China Sea is hotly contested, and while Indonesia isn't a claimant, its exclusive economic zone overlaps Chinese patrols. Beijing's ambitions worry Jakarta. A stronger air force is necessary. So why Turkey of all partners? Because unlike some suppliers, Turkey offers deep cooperation. It doesn't come with US sanctions. It doesn't require choosing sides. And Turkey needs buyers. Indonesia was already part of South Korea's KF-21 program, but that partnership hit turbulence, disputes over payments, access to key tech, delays. Jakarta wasn't satisfied, so they looked elsewhere. They also backed off a Russian fighter deal, reportedly due to fears of US sanctions under CAATSA. That's the law penalizing nations that buy Russian arms. Buying from Turkey offers a way around all that red tape. This deal is a flag in the sand. It says there are new players in the arms game. You don't have to go to Washington or Moscow for cutting-edge weapons anymore. Ankara has entered the chat. Turkey's not alone. South Korea is exporting tanks, jets, warships. India's pushing its Tejas jet. We're entering a world with many suppliers, and that means many more deals like this one. Western suppliers now face a question. Do they adapt? Can they offer tech transfer, co-production, political flexibility? Or will they keep losing ground to faster, cheaper, more collaborative competitors? Other nations are watching. Malaysia, Egypt, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia. They see what Indonesia got, and they might want the same. In 10 years, when the last can rolls off an Indonesian assembly line, the real story won't be the jet. It'll be the power of partnership, of production, of choosing your own path. So, how does the can stack up? To really understand Indonesia's bet, we need to compare it against other aircraft it's looking at, or already buying. The Rafale is a combat-proven 4.5 generation multi-role fighter. Indonesia has ordered 42 of them. It's reliable, it's battle-tested, but no stealth, no advanced AI avionics, and no tech transfer like the can deal. The F-15EX, a monster. Super powerful, huge payload, longest range, but expensive. No stealth. And tech transfer? Minimal. Also, US export rules. Indonesia might not want those strings. China's J-10C is a capable platform. Cheaper. Highly maneuverable, but politically risky. And tech transparency? Questionable. A J-10 buy could alienate Indonesia from key Western partners. Indonesia was a co-developer of South Korea's KF-21. But disputes over payments and tech access soured the relationship. The KF-21 is promising, but trust? That's harder to buy back. The can is stealthier than Rafale, more flexible than the F-15EX, less politically risky than the J-10, and more cooperative than the KF-21. It's a bet on the future, but the structure of the deal gives Indonesia more than just aircraft. It gives them leverage. According to Jane's Defense and Breaking Defense, the can deal is unprecedented in scope. They highlight how it could be a blueprint for future export partnerships, especially among middle powers. FlightGlobal reports serious concerns about the 2032 engine deadline. Developing a brand new high-thrust military engine is among the hardest feats in aerospace. There could be delays or performance compromises. That's the gamble. But Aviation Week points out, the can is also one of the only export platforms promising stealth AI. That's a powerful combo. It might not be perfect on day one, but if it works, it leapfrogs legacy systems. Southeast Asia analysts agree. This deal is as much about signal as it is about hardware. Indonesia is telling its neighbors and partners, we're not just modernizing, we're building. Turkey's journey to the can wasn't smooth. After being kicked from the F-35 program in 2019, they doubled down on going solo. Within 6 years, they had a flying prototype of their own. Thai has become a powerhouse. Drones, helicopters, jets. Their Anka UAVs have seen combat. Their Herjet trainer is operational. Can is their flagship. It's about prestige, but also exports and independence. Turkey is now a major arms exporter to Ukraine, Azerbaijan, Qatar, now Indonesia. And every deal builds their credibility as a defense innovator, not just a customer of Western tech. Ironically, Turkey's rise has created friction inside NATO, but its growing autonomy may inspire others. In a world of multipolar tension, that autonomy is powerful currency. The can deal is proof that the arms industry is changing. It's no longer about selling off-the-shelf jets. It's about sharing IP, building factories, training engineers. Indonesia didn't just buy jets, they bought know-how. Who's watching this model closely? Malaysia, Philippines, Brazil, Gulf states, countries that want to modernize but also build domestic capability. The West faces a tough question. Can it compete with this kind of package? Can the US or EU offer tech transfer or co-production without political strings? Or will buyers look eastward? The can may not be perfect, but its deal structure is. And that alone may be what other nations want most. Flexibility, capability, and autonomy, all in one contract. Make no mistake, Washington is watching this deal. Not just because it includes cutting-edge fighter tech, but because it shows that traditional allies are exploring new defense paths. For the US, that's a wake-up call. For decades, American military dominance was built not just on technology, but on control of that technology. Export restrictions, end-user agreements, strict IP laws. That model is now under pressure. The question is, will the US adapt? Can it offer more flexible deals to allies? Can it trust partners with sensitive tech? Or will it lose business and influence to countries that will? At its core, defense cooperation is about trust. Indonesia just signaled, "We trust Turkey enough to help us build our air power future." The US and its allies need to ask, are we offering trust or control? We've entered a multipolar world, not just politically, but militarily. Turkey, South Korea, India, they're not just buyers anymore, they're builders. And the arms marketplace? It's opening up in ways that were unthinkable 10 years ago. Countries like Indonesia now have more options, more suppliers, more flexibility, more say in how their military is shaped. It's a buyer's market, and the buyers are demanding more than weapons. They want knowledge, influence, self-reliance. This new world isn't without risk. More suppliers mean more complexity, more room for tech leaks, more systems that may not always play nicely together. But it also means more sovereignty for developing nations and less dependence on legacy powers. The next 10 years will define the shape of military alliances for a generation. Those who embrace cooperation, flexibility, and mutual growth will thrive. Those who resist may find themselves on the outside, looking in. So here we are, $10 billion, 48 jets, a handshake between Turkey and Indonesia. But behind those numbers lies a deeper truth. A world in transition, a defense industry being rewritten, and a message that rings louder than any engine roar. We don't just want to buy power, we want to build it. What kind of future do you want to see? One where only the giants lead, or one where nations build together? The can isn't just a jet. It's a symbol of evolution, of ambition, of strategic independence. If this video made you think, hit that like button. If you believe more people should understand how global power is shifting, share it. And if you want more deep dives like this, subscribe. Until next time, this is the South Defense signing off.